I'm sure you've heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect in psychology. So for those who haven't, it's a cognitive bias where people with a low level of ability or knowledge in a specific domain grossly overestimate their own competence. So essentially, they don't know enough to realize how little they know. In light of this definition, I find it very interesting that Benny Lewis, who has a bachelor's degree in electronic engineering, knows how to make you fluent in 3 months. Not in one, but in several languages. Could there be a case to be made? Could it be that the Dunning-Kruger effect has caused him not to see how much he doesn't know? There's a podcaster, his name's Evil D from Australia. He has a YouTube channel, 37,000 followers. It's the, if you've never watched it, it's a sort of standard YouTube drama and clickbait stuff on the theme of languages. He made an episode on me apparently, which I still haven't watched. And I see that he's a game developer. He says in some videos that crystallizing and fossilizing mistakes is a thing, and in others he says it isn't a thing, and he sort of goes back and forth. That's just one example among the many videos he's made. Could it be that as good he is at YouTubing, he really has no knowledge on how to bring another person to fluency? And what about all the miracle polyglot learners who are the face of their own brand? Could it be that their knowledge of languages and of teaching is so low that they automatically become extremely self-forgiving? Because their bar of understanding is so low. And since I have yet to hear any polyglot prove to me that they're actually good at French, and that they know how to transmit this knowledge onto others, well, it seems to be the case. What a disaster. We seem to be surrounded by people who have such a small understanding of complexity that they succeed in selling simplicity with utter faith and belief and conviction. They'll tell you, look at me, I know 12 languages. They'll tell you, look, I taught myself Spanish, this is exactly what you should do. And let's be clear, the Dunning-Kruger effect isn't genetic stupidity, it isn't an illness, it's just an observable bias. It's a lack of specialised education and knowledge. If I ever say, well, I can put up a shelf here, all it takes is a few nails and a water level, I'm demonstrating the Dunning-Kruger effect. I'm overestimating my competence and underestimating the complexity of putting up a shelf in America. They don't have walls in America, they have hollow walls, they have wood, they have cardboard. That's why it's so hard. I know from experience. So it's not an illness, it's not stupidity, it's just a lack of knowledge. Have you ever tried to use a stud finder? They call it a stud finder in America. If you ever try to nail anything into a wall, you'll know. So what is knowledge, true knowledge, in language learning or teaching? Well, I think that true knowledge is doubt. The ability to appreciate complexity to such a level that it inevitably brings you back to doubt. For example, asking a closed question in French can be done in two ways. You either place est-ce que in front of your statement, or you use arising intonation. So, you're having your radiators bled or leaked, and you want to ask the plumber, the French plumber, if they'll finish everything today. You can say, est-ce que vous allez tout finir aujourd'hui? Or, vous allez tout finir aujourd'hui? Now, these are two perfectly good questions. However, you also don't want to boss around the plumber and project the impression that you know better. So maybe in this case, allez-vous tout finir aujourd'hui comes across as a genuine question of interest. You're literally taking a step back and formulating a question that doesn't feel challenging to the plumber. That is complexity. The next question is to ask yourself what the realistic number of scenarios might be when this could actually happen. Is it necessary for a learner to know about this? When to teach it in your program? Does it come much later in the curriculum or early on when you're actually learning questions? Whether this formula, allez-vous, will still apply 10 years from now. And if the case is rather marginal, is this a rather marginal tool, or is it absolutely necessary? For that, your teacher or curriculum designer has to know about Francophone society, a few decades ideally. And they need to know how a plumber might perceive an English or an American tourist who owns a house in France or in Belgium or Luxembourg or Switzerland or Monaco, the teacher has to know if a labourer won't just laugh at this question the second you use allez-vous. Will they laugh at you? Or will they instinctively understand that you're not bossing them around? Then there's the question of teaching this skill without overshadowing the other parts or disbalancing the rest of your lesson on asking questions in French, and how to teach it also. Well, you don't want to scare a learner with details, and you don't want to overwhelm them with details, micro details, and you also don't want to not mention it. You have to find this balance. This is complexity. It relies on a native knowledge of a certain language, on a native knowledge of that francophone society, ideally across several countries and several decades, a knowledge of the communication codes of America, which are much different from Britain, much more, in your face, you might say, much more direct than in Britain. You have to know all these communication codes across several decades, ideally, because all of this combined might lead to a faux pas in francophone society. And you still have to be in doubt at the end of it all, because true knowledge is doubt. It's extremely hard to know anything about anything in this world, I've come to understand. So the next time you buy a language course and the promise of success is all so easy, ask yourself, who is the creator of this course? Are they not just a plain case of the Dunning-Kruger effect? What do they really know about complexity? My name's Chris for We Communicate. Find me at wecommunicate.com. Come and learn French as an adult and find the perfect balance between functionality and complexity. See you soon. I hope it was useful.